to speak to us. Welcome, Your Excellency.
Thank you very much, CS. Please, let's take our seats. Asante sana. We did get a very robust report from the chair of the Technical Working Group on Gender-Based Violence. Therefore, I will be brief in my remarks because I think she has outlined for us what needs to be done, and we are better off getting started on what needs to be done. But allow me to thank the chairperson of the Working Committee, Dr. Nancy Baraza, and all members of the task force for their thorough and far-reaching work. I commend you for engaging Kenyans across the 47 counties, listening to survivors, listening to experts, communities, and institutions, and for confronting this painful national challenge with courage and depth. Listening to the recommendations that you have made, I am persuaded that you have identified the critical areas that if we address, we should be able to move the needle on this challenge. This report is more than a technical document. It is a reflection of voices, fears, and hopes of Kenyan people, especially survivors of gender-based violence. I have received and taken note of the contents of this report and its wide-ranging findings and recommendations on gender-based violence and femicide. The report lays bare the scale, complexity, and evolving nature of GBV in our country, affecting women, men, girls, and boys, with women and girls bearing a disproportionate burden. The findings on femicide, domestic violence, harmful cultural practices, and technology-facilitated abuse are deeply troubling and demand collective national reflection and action. I note key proposals in the report, including the call to treat GBV, including femicide, as a national crisis, requiring urgent and coordinated action. Recommendations for strengthened prevention, investigation, and prosecution, including specialized capacity within our law enforcement agencies. Proposals for legislative and policy reforms, including improved legal definitions, survivor protection, and accountability mechanisms. And the emphasis on coordinated financing, data systems, survivor-centered services, and national awareness and behavioral change. These recommendations speak to the need for institutional coordination, adequate resourcing, and a whole of government and a whole of society response. I wish to assure the nation that all recommendations will be carefully considered and subjected to due process in accordance with our Constitution and the law. The report will be reviewed through the appropriate government mechanisms, including the Cabinet, relevant ministries, departments, and agencies, to determine policy, legislative, and administrative action. Where legislative reforms are proposed, they will be processed through the established constitutional and parliamentary procedures. Even as we consider this report, I wish to reiterate the government of Kenya's will and will continue to support and take decisive action to end the scourge of GBV in all its forms. Immediately, the CS responsible for this space will work with the colleagues, and within the next 1 month, we will have processed it through Cabinet under my chairmanship, and we will take the appropriate actions as have been recommended by the chair here. Violence against any Kenyan is unacceptable. Violence rooted in gender, power, or inequality is a betrayal of our Constitution, our values, and humanity. Protecting life, dignity, and safety is not optional. It is a core duty of a state. That said, however, ending gender violence is not the work of government alone. Parents and families and communities must nurture respect and non-violence from every home. Religious institutions must uphold the sanctity of life and dignity. Community leaders and elders must reject harmful practices and silence around abuse. We must all, as we have been implored here, reject violence around abuse. We've had men get beaten, but because they do not want to look weak, they cannot report. And then women are beaten on the other side, and because it is culture, they do not want to report. Otherwise, they make the men look like they are not doing the right thing in accordance to society's norms. So we end up with violence and a lot of silence around it. Security agencies must act firmly, professionally, and without fear or favor. Citizens must speak out, report abuse, and stand with survivors. Every Kenyan has a role to play in ensuring that GBV is prevented, reported, and punished. And therefore, I am very happy with the work that this committee has done, this task force has done. I commend you I went through the report, and I am persuaded beyond any doubt that you did apply your minds and effort appropriately. And as a means of ensuring that we pay you back, we will make sure that this report is implemented. And therefore, Waziri, you have your work cut out to process this through cabinet. And if we need the services, the support, the input of any one of the members here, please allow us to reach out to you so that together we can see this report implemented. Let this report mark not an end, but a turning point, from silence to action, from impunity to accountability, and from fear to safety. Together, as a nation, we must ensure that no Kenyan lives in fear because of their agenda. I thank you. My congratulations to all the members here, and you have brought out what was expected of this committee, and therefore we will roll the rest of government into action to make sure that we protect our families, we protect our children, we protect women, girls, boys, and everybody. Thank you very much. I know we were supposed to start this meeting earlier, but the earlier meeting that was here took longer, and I have another meeting that has just started. I have a virtual meeting with another 7 heads of state. You will allow me to cut short here and to wish you the very best. Asanteni sana.
Your Excellency, a quick photo, perhaps, a very quick photo. Let's take our seats. TWG, the TWG.